यशोदा नंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदा नंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तीर वनचारी, यमुना तीर वनचारी, जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी, जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी, जय गिरिवरधारी, यशोदा नंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यशोदा नंदन ब्रज जन रंजन, यमुना तीर वनचारी, यमुना तीर वनचारी, जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, जय राधा गिरिधारी श्री राधे, जय गिरि गोवर्धन जय गिरि गोवर्धन, जय गिरि गोवर्धन, जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेव जय सुभद्रा, जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय, जय गौरानिताय जय गौरानिताय, जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद, जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव, नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल, नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल। हरे कृष्ण। Please, Prabhu, can you go ahead with the reading, Gilamrta? Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes,
please continue to read, please.
Okay, thank you. Sridhar Maharaja was very old, his sight failing, his joints stiff with arthritis. He stayed mostly in his room and sometimes in his veranda and moved only with slow, rickety motion. He was an austere and kindly Vaishnava and smiled heartily on seeing Prabhupada and his disciples. In fluent English, he began praising Prabhupada's preaching in America, reportedly using Prabhupada's phrase, Krishna consciousness. Swamiji's work, he said, was fulfillment of Lord Chaitanya's prophecy that Krishna consciousness would one day spread all over the world. He laughed and smiled and praised Krishna consciousness movement with no trace of jealousy. So, you appreciate this praise, Krishna consciousness? Prabhupada smiled. Yes, Sridhar Maharaj replied, and the disciples of Swami Maharaj also. He turned towards Achyutananda and Ramanuja with very little efforts. Your preaching will go far. The boys were astonished. This was really something to write home about. Sitting on the roof of a temple in his jungle paradise with old Sridhar Maharaj appreciating Swamiji's work as the greatest work on behalf of Lord Chaitanya, and Swamiji sitting relaxed, grinning, and making humble replies. It was the high point of the trip. My dear Sharupo, please accept my blessings. I have already duly received the invitation from the Harvard University. It is understood that they are scheduling me for 20th November between 6 and 10 p.m. I can start immediately on the strength of my visitor's visa, but I am waiting for Mukunda's reply for his trying for my permanent visa. Yesterday, we have all come to Navadvipa. This place is another establishment of one of my god brothers. It is very nice, an extensive place, and my god brother B.R. Sridhar Maharaj has spared one entire nice house for our stay. He has also agreed to cooperate with our society. We will observe his birthday ceremony tomorrow, and Brahmachari shall learn how to celebrate the spiritual master's birthday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayesha Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloge Bhaktir Bhavadi Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namo Pankajam Nabhaya Namo Pankajamaline, Namo Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajangre, Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramaga, Vasudeva Parayoga, Vasudeva Parakriya, Vasudeva Paranyanam, Vasudeva Paratapa, Vasudeva Paradharmo, Vasudeva Paragadi. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 2, Text number 14. The activities of Maharaja Agnidhara. Yo asotvayakara saroja khatapatango dikshu brahman brahmata vijayade akshinemi muktam nate smarasi vakrajatha varutham kashto anilo haradilampata yesanivim. Yo asotvayakara saroja khatapatango dikshu brahman brahmata vijayade akshinemi Uktam nate smarasi vaktra jata varutam kashto anilo haradilampata esanivim. Yo aso tvayakara saroja khatapatango dikshu brahman brahmata yajayate akshinemi. Muktam nate smarasi vaktra jata varutam kashto anilo haradilampata esanivim. Anybody wants to try, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I am trying.
Please go ahead.
Joshotaya karo sorojohato patango dikshu brahmano brahmato ekoyajekshino me muktam nate smarasi vakrajata varutham kashto nile harati lampatesho nibim. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Please carry on, Mataji.
Yuvashautaya karo sarajahat patango dikshu brahman brahmatoye jayate akshini me muktam nate smarasi vakrajata varutham kashto anila harati lampatoye shunibim.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
Hare
Or we
Krishna
can go to
Prabhu.
cinema.
Hare
Yeah,
Krishna
please.
Prabhu, I'm also trying.
Please. Go ahead.
Yo asotavya karo saroja hata patango dikshu brahmana brahmati ejayati akshini me muktam nate samarasi vakra jata varutham kasto anilo harati lampate eva nevim. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Anyone else?
I can try, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Please carry on.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Mata.
Yusau tvaya karasaro jahata patango dikshu brahman brahmata ejayate kshini me muktam nate smarasi vakrajata varutham कष्टो अनिलो हरति लंपट एष निवीम. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mother.
Thank you.
Yes. Can we go to synonyms? Yeah, we'll go to synonyms, please. Yeah, which, so that, Toya, by you, Karasaroja, with the lotus palm, Hataha, struck, Padanga, the ball, Dikshu, in all directions, Brahman, moving, Brahmataha, restless, Vijayate, disturbs, Akshini, eyes, May, of me, Muktam, scattered, Na, not, Te, your, Smarasi, are you mindful of, Vakra, curling, Jata, of hair, Varutam, bunches, Kashta, giving trouble, Anilaha, wind, Harati, takes away, Lampadha, like a man attached to women, Ishaha, this, Nivim, lower garment. Anybody wants to try the translation and purport, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I try?
Please, go ahead, Mataji.
Translation. My mind is already restless, and by playing with a ball, moving it all about with your lotus-like palm, you are also agitating my eyes. Your curling black hair is now scattered, but you are not attentive to arranging it. Are you not going to arrange it? Like a man attached to woman, the most cunning wind is trying to take off your lower garment. Are you not mindful of it?
Thank you.
Purport. The girl
Yeah.
Puruchiti.
Yeah,
Yes,
carry
ma'am.
on. Carry on.
Okay.
Mataji, may I
Thank you.
read?
Yeah.
Mataji, may I read, please?
Yeah. Please carry on, Mata.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The girl Purva Chitti was playing with a ball in her hand, and the ball seemed like nothing but another lotus flower captured by her lotus-like palm. Because of her movements, her hair was loose, and the belt holding her cloth was giving away, as if the cunning wind were trying to make her naked. Yet she paid no attention to arranging her hair or fixing her dress. As Agnidhar tried to see the girl's naked beauty, his eyes were very agitated by her movements. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mata. Thank you, Mata. So, Canto 5, Chapter 2, text number 14. Om Ajnanadimarandasya Jana Salakaya Chachurudmilidam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadadi Swapadantigam Vandegam Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vishnavanja Sri Rupam Sagrajadam Sagagana Raghunadhanvidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadodam Parijana Sagidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagagna Lalidam Sri Visakha Tanja He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namostude Sapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sudi Devi Namami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyacha Kripa Sindhubhya Vajaha Padidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Udale Srimade Vedavyasa Priya Swamin Dinamine Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Udale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Dinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Prajarine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pachatya Desatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji and Mataji. Though I am not qualified to speak on this subject matter, I seek all your blessings so that I can deliver something meaningful to this verse. Reading from 5th Cantos, Chapter 2 and text number 14. Yo aso toyakara saro jakata patango dikshu brahman brahmada jagade akshine me muktam nate smarasi Vakrajata Varutham Kasto Anilo Haradi Lampata Yesanivim. Hare Krishna. the last few verses of this chapter, Vyasadeva is describing about the physical structure of the Apsara or Queen Purvachiti. And Agnidhara was captivated by her beauty. Agnidhara decided to go to Pitraloka and he wanted to meditate on the demigod Brahmadev. And he went to Mandara Hill. And instantly Brahmadev sent the celestial girl Purvachiti. And he awakened from his meditation and see the beauty of the Purvachiti. And he fell into the beauty. Of course, this is the trap spread by Maya Devi through the agency of Brahmadev to fulfill the desire of Agnidhara. So even Brahmadev is not above Maya Devi. He is also trapped under Maya Devi. So we can say what will happen if a person who is absorbed in the worship of demigod or this type of meditation, what will happen? What is his destination? What will happen to him? That's explained in Bhagavad Gita in 2-3 verses. In chapter 7, 20, 21, 22. 21, 22, I think so. It says about that. Kamai saitya kritajnana prabhadyanti anyat devada tam niyadam asataya pragidya niyada swaya. Those whose intelligence are stolen by material desires will worship the demigods. And they will follow their own rules and regulations according to their nature. So this is most applicable to Mayavadis. Mayavadis will not accept the Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. They try to meditate on various expansion of Supreme Lord, like Lord Shiva, Lord Ganesha, Lord Kartikeya, and Devi. All this type of worship they will do. And they follow their own rules and regulations, which will not be available in the Vedas or any other authorized scriptures. So Kamayasya Kritajnana Prabhadyanti Anya Devada Tam Niyadam Asataya Pragidya Niyada Swa. That is the way the worship of demigods by the human being. Okay. The next verse it says that Yo yam yam Tajur Bhakta Sardayachadam Ichari Tam Niyadam Asataya Pragidya Niyada Swaya. So Lord says to Arjuna, as soon as one desires to worship the demigod, I will make his faith steady. I will make his faith steady so that he can allot his time to devote with worshipping the demigods. So Lord himself is facilitating to worship of the demigod for those who are very, very fascinated about worshipping the demigods. Okay. And the next verse it says that Sadaya Sradaya Yukta Tasyara Hanami Hade Labade Tada Kaman Mameva Vihidan Hidan. What it says, endowed by such desire, people worship demigods and get their desires done. Actually, these benefits are bestowed by me alone. Lord says, actually, I am giving the benefits to the demigods. Sadaya Sradaya Yukta Tatyara Hanamihade Labade Tadaya Kaman Mameva Vihidan Hidan. So, you know what is the effect of worshipping the demigods. You circumvent all these places and come back to the same material pool. So, Agnidhara is worshipping Brahmadev. Brahmadev is also a demigod. So, his desire was entirely different. He is having a material desire. And in the verse, it says that, translation, my mind is already restless. Agnidhara is accepting that my mind is restless. Previously, he is seeing the Purvachiti as a Brahmana or a man, and then he controls, she's a woman. and his mind becomes restless by seeing her beauty. Now, why he has become agitated? He has become agitated by because his senses are controlled by mind, not by intelligence. His senses are controlled verily by the mind, not by the intelligence. There are so many verses in Bhagavad Gita which talks about mind control. Mind control. And what is the character of the mind? And we can select a few of that actually in the maybe in the 6th chapter. Indriyani paranyahu, indriyabhi param manaha, manasastu para buddhi, ye buddhi parastu saha. All the it says that working senses are superior to dull matter. Dull matter all life. Working senses are more superior to dull matter. And mind is superior to dull matter. Superior to senses. And above senses is our intelligence. And above intelligence is our soul. So this is the hierarchy of the mind and intelligence and the soul. So we give importance to the mind. We will never give importance to our intelligence. We will never differentiate what is good or bad. We will take what mind says, whether it is good or not, we will take it as it is. And in 6th chapter it says again, Bandhura Atmana Tasya Yenat Atmana Jidaha Anathamanatsu Satruve Vardatatmane Satruvat. Those who are conquered the mind is a good friend to him. Those who are not conquered his mind, it's become the biggest, greatest enemy. That's what Krishna says in 6th chapter. Not only that, and Arjuna asked a question to the Lord Krishna. Chanchalam hi manak Krishna, pramadi balavad dridam, tasyaham vigramanye, payoriva dushkritam. My dear Krishna, how I can control the mind, which is restless, turbulent, and goes everywhere. I can even control the air, not the mind. How to control the mind? Krishna gives a simple solution to that. The next verse, Krishna gives a simple solution. Abhyasa yone te kaunteya vairagena cha grihyate. By constant practice and detachment, you can control your mind. By constant practice and detachment, you can control your mind. Here it says about my mind is already, the Agnidhara's mind is already restless. So Agnidhara has not taken any instruction from any spiritual master. It shows that his mind is wavering. And in 15th chapter, Lord says, Mamai Vaiso, Jivaloge, Jivabhuta Sanatana, Anasastrani, Indriyani, Pragati Stani Kashtati. The living entities in this material world, though they are my fragmental part, they are suffering with all 6 senses, not only 5, 6 senses, which include the mind. So Lord is giving importance to the mind also here. The mind control, giving the mind control, how to control the mind. They are, even though they are from fragmented part of my body, they are wandering in this material world with all 6 senses, which include the mind. So these are the few verses which explains the characteristics of our mind and how to control our mind. We have seen that. And here we are seeing totally different characteristics of Agnidhara as against the Priyavrata. His Priyavrata wanted to take shelter under a spiritual master, and he wants to get a self-realized man. But Agnidhara, on the other hand, he is a materially advanced person, and he wants to go to Pitraloka, and he wanted to worship the demigod. The 2 different aspects. Of course, Agnidhara is not a ordinary king. He is a very able king. That's why it was explained in earlier verses. He was an able king, was able to control. He was satisfied all his subjects of the Bhumandala or Jambu Dweep, where he was ruling. He is not an ordinary king at all. But only problem is he chose a wrong path for self-realization. So that's Lord says, Bahunam Janmanamande Jnanamam Prabhatyante. Vasudeva Sarvamiti Swabhatma Sadurlabha. After many births, one who understands me as the Supreme Personality. Such soul is very rare. But it is the influence of the material mode. But everyone is attracted to the opposite sex. It is the influence of the material mode. It is not only in the human society, but it's also in the animal society. This propensity is there. Usually, men, due to their weakness and lack of description and restraint, easily and readily fall prey into the beauty of the opposite sex. That's what happening to Agnidhar. Not only it is human being, but also in the animal kingdom also it is available. But this is entirely different. In Purana, there is a beautiful verse explaining how these animals get captivated by one of their senses. But one of their senses. I will recite the verse. Kurangamadanga padanga bringa Meena Hadha Panchareva Panchaha Yeda Pramado Kadamna Hanyade Yeksevede Panchevi Panchaha Kurangamada Padanga Bringa Meena Hadha Panchareva Panchaha Eka Pramado Kadamna Hanyade Yeksevede Panchevi Panchaha. It says that when Kuranga means deer, Madanga means elephant, Padanga means fireflies, Bringa means honeybee, and Meena means fish. When one of the senses are very prominent in the animal, in these animals, they cause their ruination. That's cause their death or ruination. How about a human being? When all the five senses, the sense of hearing, sense of taste, sense of touch, sense of smell, and another sense of hearing, all these senses are very active in human being. And what about his fate? He will be worse than animal. When all the senses are getting activated together and uncontrolled by his mind, he becomes very mad. That's what is being explained. We have seen all the last few verses how Agnidhara become mad after Purva Chitti. It says that Kuranga is deer, Matanga is elephant, Patanga is fireflies, Bringa honeybee, and Meena is fish. I'll little explain to you how these animals are get captivated by their senses. In the case of deer is when a hunter goes for deer hunting, he goes with a musical instrument like flute or some kind of violin, and he plays a nice music in the violin or a flute. By hearing that, the deer becomes stand still, and the hunter takes this opportunity and shoot his arrow and kill or capture the deer. So the deer is captivated by the sense of hearing. And next is Matanga. Matanga is elephant. See, we have heard that how the elephants have been caught in the forest. When they are going for a hunting, they also take their trained female elephant along with them. And these hunters will allow the female elephant to wander in the forest. By seeing the other elephants, this female elephant will go and touch them. They touch the male elephants. By touching, the male elephant get very, very captivated, very become mad, and follows the female elephant. Because female elephant is so trained, and he will come back to the hunter. He'll come back, he has been trained, and he'll come back to the hunter. Or in the process, the male elephant, which follows the female elephant, will fall into the big pit, which is already prepared by the hunter, and fall into the pit, and they will catch the elephant. So, elephant is captivated by the sense of touch. Next is patanka, that fireflies. We have seen fireflies that lives for a day or two. That's all. Maximum their life is only very short. By that time, they will be born. They produce. They'll grow. They produce and die. So this is the process. They live for a few hours. Their eyes are so captivated by seeing the fire. You can see that in the rainy season, they come in the houses, that all fireflies will come to them, searching for the light. In the bargain, by seeing the light, they go into the fire and get killed automatically. So they are captivated by their sense of eyes. And the next is bringa. Bringa is honeybee. Honeybee, you all know that they're collecting honey from all the flowers. Especially in the case of lotus, when the honeybee goes into that collecting the honey from the lotus, and it gets intoxicated by the smell of the lotus flower. In the bargain, the honeybee becomes unconscious and lies down in the lotus flower itself. As you know that the lotus flower in the evening, when the sun sets, it closes its petals. So the honeybee is caught inside the lotus flower. And it may die or it may become unconscious. When the flower opens in the next day morning by the sunshine, you can see the honeybees are inside the lotus flower, lying unconscious. So that is the drawback for the honeybee. They are, by their smell, their sense of smell, they are captivated. And the next is Meena. Meena, you know that how the fisherman gets the fishing bait and catch the fish by the taste. So all these animals, they have one senses are more prominent, and which leads to their ruination or their death. Whereas in human being, we have all five senses very actively. Very activated. Anytime we need a good hearing. We need a good hearing. We need wanted to see good things, and we want to speak about good things, and we want to taste good things, and we want touched by a soft skin. All this are very common in the human being. So what will happen? What will be his fate? His fate will be like Agnidhara. So, as we see that every device requires basic maintenance in human body for smooth functioning. Among the many devices, we see that mind is also an instrument which is very complex, subtle, and potent. Because it exists within us, we may not think that it is something distinct from us. It is already existing in us. We never see that it is distinct from us. So, as a device, it can work efficiently or inefficiently or even drastically. It all depends on us. Therefore, the sense of King Agnidhara is carried by his mind. Unless all the senses are controlled by the intelligence, it's very difficult to control our senses. Not only here, yesterday, Siddhanandani Mataji was referring about the character of Agnidhara. In the previous, and somebody was commenting on that. The previous verses, King Agnidhara was contemplating Purvachiti, the expansion of Lord Vishnu. Agnidhara knows that Vishnu is the Supreme Personality Godhead, but his mind is not permitting to concentrate and meditate on Supreme Lord. Why? Because he has no proper spiritual master to guide him. In the case of Priyavarta, he has a spiritual master. Narada Muni was guiding him properly. In the case of Agnidhara, there is no spiritual master. That's why he wanted to worship the demigod. The king was very pious and he was an able king. The pious does not mean that he will get a law of Godhead. Of course, his desire to go to get a good progeny through a beautiful wife or been sanctioned by Lord Brahma. Brahma is only an order carrier of Supreme Lord. He cannot give any benediction of his own. He carries whatever the orders Supreme Lord gives, he carries and delivers it to the people or who meditates on him. So, Agnidhara knows that Vishnu is the Supreme Lord. And also, in this verse, the previous verse, it is explained that the smell of the remnants emanating from the mouth of Purvachiti, that is the remnants of the Vishnu Prasada. He knows everything. He knows the Shastras. He knows the Supreme Lord. But his mind is not allowing to meditate on him. So, that is the situation for Agnidhara. The situation for Agnidhara happened to many other demigods. Like Lord Shiva, he was captivated by Mohini. Lord Brahma, captivated by Vak. What about Indra? He is captivated by the beauty of Akalya. So to say, we are going to see in all lusty desires of many other kings like Yayati, Kurorva, and the allegory given in the fourth canto is for the Narada Muni has given the good allegory of the lusty desires to King Prajina Parikshit. We have seen many characters. It is not Agnidhara, it is not new actually, this kind of lusty desires. The lusty desires because as said in the Bhagavad Gita, the fire is covered by a smoke, the mirror is covered by dust, and the embryo is covered by the womb. Likewise, the living entities are covered by different kind of lust. And Bhagavad Gita also says that the senses, mind, and intelligence are the sitting places for the lust. Where yesterday Mataji was explaining, the sitting places of lust. So nobody can escape. Only thing we can control activity. Everybody has it. All human beings have the Shat Ripus. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. And we have imperfect senses. Brahma, Pramata, Vipralipsa, and Karnapada. So all these four imperfect senses on top of Shat Ripus. And we have three kleshas. And we have four kleshas. Three kleshas. Adi Devi, Adi Bhautik, Adhyatmik. And we have four kleshas. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. All these we have. We are struggling to exist in the material world, but we think that we are in a better position. We are struggling actually. Prakriti Sani Karshad. But we think that we are in a better off. We are in a better position. No. We are controlled by three modes of, on top of it, we are controlled by three modes of material nature. All these attributes will work according to the material nature. On goodness, something else. On the rajas, something else. On the tamas, there is something else. All this has been done because to get how we can avoid all this, how to live a controlled life. How to avoid this, how to make a controlled life. Because why the Bhagavatam giving so much information on the subject matter of the lust of Agnidhara. You must learn. This is a lesson for us to learn that how to put into practice, how to control our senses and how to control our lust by various meditation, various aspects of spiritual life. It's not an easy thing. And yesterday Mataji was mentioning about just briefly referring about the characteristics of comparing the characteristics of Agnidhara and Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj. So I just want to go to detail of this comparison of Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj and Maharaj Agnidhara. There are a few points we can take very easily from this. In Srimad Bhagavatam, I think, in the 9th canto, 14th chapter 18, 19, 20, these three verses talks about the characteristics of Ambarish Maharaj. It starts from Savai Mano Krishna Padara Vindayo Pajamsi Vaikuntheswar Gunana Varnane. Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayo. His mind is always thinking about the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayo. That is the characteristics of Ambarish Maharaj. Whereas Agnidhara, on the other hand, in the eighth verse, it says, Bano Yamo Bhagavataha Sadapatra Padha Patro. That is, my dear, you have the two powerful eyes, and it's so piercing, and mind, so piercing my mind. So he is thinking in the mind, the two powerful eyes of Purvachiti. How we compare Agnidhara and Maharaja Ambarish. That's first one. And second one says, Ambarish Maharaj, Vajamsi Vaikunta Gunana Varnani. His mouth or his voice always wanted to glorify the pastimes of Supreme Lord. Whereas Agnidhara, in the 9th verse, it says, Gayanti Sama Sarahasyam Ajaram Isram. Gayanti Sama Sarahasyam Ajaram Isram. Agnidhara says that by seeing your beauty, the bumblebees surrounding you, singing and chanting all Vedic hymns. So he is explaining all the bumblebees are praising your beauty. That's what comes out of your mouth. His voice says that. So you can see the comparison. And the next, in Ambarish Maharaj case, his ears. Sudim chakarya chuda satkada yudoide. He's always wanted to hear about the pastimes and the glories of Supreme Lord. Whereas Agnidhara wanted to hear in the text number 10, it said, Vajamparam charana panjara titirinam. My dear, my ears hear the tinkling of your angle bells. My ears hear the tinkling of your angle bells. He says to Purachiti. That's what the he can hear. That's what the mind of Agnidhara. And fourth example, Agnidhara, Ambarish Maharaj, Mugundalingalaya Darsano Driso. His eyes always wanted to see the form of the Supreme Lord in the temple. His eyes always wanted to Mugundalingalaya Darsano Driso. His eyes wanted to see the form of the Lord in the temple. Whereas Agnidhara, on the other hand, in the 14th verse itself, it says, Dikshu Brahman Brahmaja Idayate Akshine Muktam Nade Smarasi Vakta Jatavarutam. Agnidhara wanted to see her naked beauty, and his eyes are getting agitated. There, Ambarish Maharaj wanted to see the form of the Lord, this transcendental form of the Supreme Lord in the temple. Whereas Agnidhara wanted to see the naked form of the Purachiti, and his eyes are getting agitated. And the fifth comparison, this is up 4 is over. Now, fifth comparison, I have made some few comparisons only. There may be many. Granam Jadat Pada Saroja. In the case of Ambarish Maharaj, Granam Jadat Pada Saroja Saurabhe. He wants to smell the incense or the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. Maharaj Ambarish. Granam Jadat Pada Saroja Saurabhe. Whereas Agnidhara wanted to smell, it is in the verse number 13. Kavatma Vrittir Adanat Davir Angavati Vishnur Kalasi Animisho Makharo Chakarano. He is absorbed in smelling the scent of chewing betel nuts emanating from the Purohiti's mouth. See the comparison. He wanted to smell the betel nut, smell of betel nut emanating from the Purohiti's mouth. So this is the comparison for his what he want to smell, what he want to apply his nose, where he wants to apply his nose. Smelling, that is sense of smelling. And the next is Ambarish Maharaja says, Kamam Chadasya Natu Kama Kamyaya. I want to serve you. You want to desire to engage as a servant of servant in the service of the Lord. Kamam Chadasya Natu Kama Kamyaya. His desire is to engage his servant as the servant of the servant for the service of the Lord. Whereas Agnidhara wanted, in the 15th verse, it says that Kim Prasidati Savai Bhava Bhavano Me. Agnidhara wanted, his desire was to make Purojiti as his wife and serve her. He wanted to serve Purojit as his wife. Kim Prasidati Savai Bhava Bhavano Me. Agnidhara desired to make Purojiti as his wife and serve. So you can see what a vast difference between these two human beings. No doubt, it is just such a kind of situation will arise for anyone, not only for Agnidhara. It is applicable for everyone. So even the demigods were not spared by their lust, as already told you. How Agnidhara, this is not something new for us as far as Agnidhara is concerned. And how Agnidhara will achieve desired success, we can learn from the next few verses. I think we have touched upon almost all points. Why the lust has come in, how the mind is controlled, what is the characteristics of mind, how the mind is controlled from the verses of Bhagavad Gita, and how the lust, what are the sitting place of lust, and how to control the lust, and how Ambarish Maharaja as compared to Agnidhara, Why Agnidhara is coming to that situation? Why he is worshipping demigod? Because he has no spiritual master. Spiritual master, there is no spiritual master in his life, referred in the scripture. Whereas in the case of Priyavrata, spiritual master has been mentioned. He was meditating. He was under the guidance of Narada Muni. So he has learned the art of spiritual life from his spiritual master. Here, there is nothing to guide him. There is nobody to guide him. Or as far as Agnidhara is concerned, that's why his mind is wavering and he's gone haywire and he went to Pitraloka and from there, he, as per his descent. So I would like to stop here. So another it says that Sarvabhade Vinukrutam, Tatparena Nirmala, Rishikana Rishikesa, Sevanam Bhakti Uchati. All our senses has to be in the service of the Lord, as per Padma Purana it says. Okay. Many points have been already touched upon by earlier reciters. So I would like to stop here. Anybody has any comments or any questions, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for bringing out the essential points of this verse so nicely. And particularly I've mentioned in the beginning that about the lust, how it affects our life in an uncontrolled way if it remains uncontrolled. And in fact, the lust, you have mentioned that first you have told the hierarchy in the body, the senses are superior than the dull body. And then mind is superior to the senses, and intelligence is superior to mind, and soul is above. So these are the hierarchy. But the mind is sometimes so turbulent, so forceful that it takes away even the intelligence and the soul as well. Because the body, when we are embodied in a body, the soul is controlled under the control of the body. It remains in the body unless one makes a special effort to bring the to control the body through the soul and intelligence. That's why Prabhupada has said it for a human being. It is very important that we remember that we are not this body, because body is just like any other animal body. But with our intelligence and a superior knowledge, we control it, and that superior intelligence the God has given us as a human being, and we are different from
Yes.
other animal beings, and that is the difference between human being and other animal, and we have to make best use of it. And you have very nicely told about how it is to be controlled. Actually, in verse I think 340, it is very clearly mentioned that senses, mind, and the intelligence are the sitting places of the lust.
Correct.
So these are the things. But we can only, these are so powerful. In 260, it is very clearly written in verse 260 of on Bhagavad Gita. It is very
Yes.
clear. And Jatatovi konteo purushasya viposhchito indriyani pramati haranti prashabhammana. It says that senses are so strong and impetus is so strong that it forcibly carries the mind, even for a man of discrimination. And it, as you have you have given so nice example, even the rishis and other things were also taken. Their mind was also forcibly taken away, and it remained uncontrolled. So the lesson for us is to remember that we use our senses for the service of the Lord. When we utilize it for the service of the Lord, then
That's right.
then only we can remain controlled. As you have given the example of Ambarish Maharaj vis-a-vis as against that of Nidra. When he was utilizing his body for the body, and Ambarish Maharaj is utilizing all his senses for the service of the Lord. And with a higher taste, he was able to control himself.
Correct.
That should be our motto in our material life. When we are in this world, we have so many influences of other lust and other things are there around everything. We cannot 100% always tell to that we are not influenced, but we have to make sure that we control ourselves and engage all our senses for the service of the Lord, and in this way make ourselves, utilize our senses for the service of the Lord. In this way, we progress in our duty of human life and to achieve the ultimate goal of life. That should be our motto. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Anyone else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandot Pranam.
Dandot Pranam. Dandot Pranam.
So really enjoyed your class today. So nicely, you brought out so many points. So initially, when you read the verse and the purport, because of my ignorance, I was thinking, oh, like how, like what to speak on this? Or like what are the
Very small purport and
not just small purport, different type of purport, different type of
yeah.
So I was wondering, but so nicely you brought out so many important points, and especially I like that comparison between Ambarish Maharaj and Vaikuntheswar. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Another thing in Bhagavad Gita it says, Mrityu Harva Sarvasaham Kurbhavasama Vivedadam Kirti Sri Vakta Nari Nam Samiti Meda Sruti Meda Dirdi Sama. So Krishna says, I am the death, and also he is explaining about the woman character. Woman is Kirti. Kirti means fame. Sri means opulence, and Vak means the flowery words. They always speaks a flowery words. Women. Okay. Nari Nam. This is the characteristics of the feminine characteristics. So he explains that. So Purachiti also is going to do the same thing to Agnidhara, and he is again going to fall into the prey of Purachiti later on. So this is happening actually. This is not for the even for the demigods like Agnidhara. It's happening. What about our human being? No?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandot Pranam.
Dandot Pranam.
Could you please repeat again how to control lust? I know you have already told it, but can you repeat this again, please?
That is, see, controlling the lust is, the lust is sitting places. There are three places of sitting the lust. One is senses, intelligence, and mind. Okay. These are the three places for sitting lust as per Bhagavad Gita.
Yes.
Once, how to control this mind? Lord says that Abhyasayona yuktena vairagena grihate. By constant practice and detachment. So you can control the mind. Once you control the mind, automatically your intelligence will fall into line. So now we are all controlled by our mind. Your mind takes us to makes us to so far that we have no control over mind. Once you control the mind, the lust will be controlled. How to control the mind? By constant practice and detachment. Okay, Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhu, here you also mentioned that even the demigods were not spared.
Yes, demigods are not spared. That's why, no.
So what to speak about humans?
Yeah. That's why. See, demigods are not even spared by that. But they realizes. Later on, they realizes. But human being never realizes. They will go mad after the lust.
Correct.
The demigods realizes. Whereas in the case of Shiva, after seeing Mohini, he realizes that what is the mistake he is doing. He realizes that. Brahma, after following his daughter, he realizes that. There are so many instances. And Indra, he realizes his mistake.
Yes.
But human being is difficult to realize his mistake. Birth after birth, he does the same mistake. But only thing by practice, constant practice, and the detachment, we can do it. We can thoroughly win over the mind, win over the mind, and win over the senses, win over the lust.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Anyone else, please?
Hey, Hare Krishna, Dandot Pranam.
Dandot Pranam.
Thank you for giving unpacking this verse in such a so many different angles and giving so many examples.
Thank you.
Just
thank you, Prabhu.
When visiting Vishnu temples in India, especially South India, sometimes we see in the front of the temple there are a lot of icons or deities in a very different poses. And before you go to the temple, it's a bit bewildering. So I was going to ask somebody why do they have these things in the side of the temple or front of the temple before you enter the temple?
Maybe in the Indian temple, you mean? All
Yeah.
Indian temple?
Indian, especially
Yeah,
South
because
India, also I seen in
yeah. Because this is as per the instruction of the ruling king. They do as per the Kama Shastra. No, they are the architecture. They will do as per the Kama Shastra. They will as per their mind. They whatever form comes in, they will do it actually.
Mhm.
But that is not to be accepted as the real form of the deity. Deities form are entirely different. They are transcendental. So you cannot compare that whatever is scripture on the walls or on the temple outside the temple or in the tower or whatever may be that is inscribed there. But we should not mind over that. But we may take some lessons that these are all the part of the material life, because they will depict Lord Shiva is running after Mohini in the scripture. They will depict because it's already in the scripture. But what happens to them? They will focus more on the subject matter than to teach the public. They will more focus on the sensual matter than the spiritual matter. That's a problem with all the temples. Most of the temples in South India or not many in South India, especially in South India. And there are so many critics about that. Why the Hindu temples are like that? There are many, because this was done by under the instructions of the kings who were ruling that particular province or particular states. And under his instruction, all the architecture or the sculptures, they do the same thing as per the Kama Shastra. Not as per the regular scriptural thing. Kama Shastra is not a part of our regular scripture.
Thank you, Prabhu, because every time we go to these temples, could be bewildering before you go into the temple. All this.
No, we should never do that. But we never should. We are never giving importance to that. All these classes. We should never see as a sensual matter. We should see as a spiritual matter. That's the only thing.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Anyone else?
Before we class?
Yeah, we can finish the class.
Yes, Prabhu. There doesn't seem to be any more comments.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyacha. Ananta Kodi Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
His grace.
Yes, Vaikuntheswar Dasa I SB.